I don't even have to go to the doctor. All I got to do is,
Sweet.
one day it's like, hey, we have it today. Here's a form to fill out.
Right.
That easy. But this job and the previous job both did that. We are,
Did
however,
Tharco do that?
no, Tharco didn't
Because
do
I was using Kaiser. So
They never did that Tharco that I recall. But I know this my two jobs in Boston did it. But we are actually live right now, and
we are vaxxers. If you're an anti-vaxxer, go ahead and comment.
anyone can comment on anything. But we are going to comment on computing. Computing. Because I learned something about hard drives, and that is that there's a reason we don't do it like we used to. Are you familiar? You know what? We should open up the show. We don't have a venison or a Lulu yet, and I don't know if they're just no showing this week or what. But that's okay. For those that tuned in last week and saw the explosive thing going on and are like, well, I guess Lulu is not talking to Gators. That's not entirely true. Saturday night, I did a little Twitch stream. Lulu and Ted were in the chat room, and all was well. So as far as I know, that suggests we are still on speaking terms. But for now, it's me and Brian, and we'll see if Venison or Lulu show up as the show unfolds. And but Brian here was talking about two shots, I think, and I'm talking about computers. Yeah. But we gotta open up the show. Because once again, it's that time. It's Monday. It's 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock, depending on where you are, or somewhere in between, or something completely different. But it's time again for everyone's favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
The internet radio show that changes names so often, we just put a placeholder in. We'll fix that in post. And technology is a hell of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got, all kinds of chips and microprocessors and buses and platters and optical data and magnetic data and electrons and all this. And all it takes is one fucking cable to bring it all down.
Yeah, buses and trains and trolleys and
not
subways.
that kind of bus.
Oh.
Yeah, technology's a bitch, all right. You can't even get my verification code.
There we go. Okay, and speaking of bad wires, here's the guy with a few loose, Venison. Hey, the audience clapped for you. It's all good. Hey.
Just trying to fix this thing. Be right back.
Okay. Hey, Brian, you see that new song about the butthole?
No.
Oh, it's the greatest thing on the internet this week. Someone, those parents that border on child abuse, posting videos of their children unaltered to go viral, and then the whole world is staring at this person's child. The child has no idea the whole world's staring at them, but it happens. You know that?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that happened again this week, and I'm not going to bring up the video. The audio does it, and that way I could try to keep some sort of a feel okay that I'm not showing random videos of some stranger's kid on my screen. But if you want to go find that, you know how kids will say the darndest things, and kids can be very creative, and well, this kid, she wrote a song. And she wrote a song called I Wonder What's Inside Your Butthole. And
I wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole. Maybe there's astronauts and maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole?
it's damn catchy, isn't it?
Very catchy.
And
There's a star.
Yeah.
the internet has already made remixes of this.
I wonder what's inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole. Maybe
Klingons.
there's astronauts and maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. I wonder what's inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole.
See, we got a new dance hit sensation on our hands here. Apparently, I left you all speechless.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of in the middle of a presentation of a new sign.
Oh, and there's people covering this. I have not seen this one yet.
Ah, about time.
I wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole.
Klingons.
Maybe there's astronauts and maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole? I always wanna know. What's inside your butthole? I always wanna know. What's inside your butthole? I always wanna know. What's inside your butthole? I wonder what's inside your butthole.
See, it works. Kid totally wrote a legit song.
It is a good song.
It is a good
Wow.
song.
Unfortunately, they probably didn't have the sense to get it copyrighted.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you something. Here is something I know from majoring in music recording technology. When you register your copyright, you only do that to prove your copyright. Your song, your original creation, is legally copyrighted the moment you create it.
Oh, so this kid, by posting that, or the parent that posting their kid, instantly has a copyright.
Well, that
That's a
proves
good-
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like
Yeah.
the old mail it to yourself thing, which doesn't really work. Don't do that. But basically, you register it for proof. It's an easy way to
Yeah.
prove it. It's an easy document to have, but the law covers you even if you don't register it. It just makes it more of a challenge to prove it if you ever need to
By the way, did you
fight
watch
something like that.
the Queen movie, the Bohemian Rhapsody?
I've not watched that yet. I read there were some inaccuracies in it. And I don't
That's
like
fine.
I don't like people
No, that's
changing
fine.
facts for
Two of the musicians from
artistic,
Queen
yeah.
participated in the thing. Yeah, you can have inaccuracies, sure, but they did a great job at it.
Well,
I think
why
the
have
acting
them
was
when you
decent.
don't have to? You know, that's just trying to
Why-
take
why don't have
artistic
what?
license. Why include inaccuracies?
Well, you're going to always have arguments on even if let's say if the original musician said this happened, you have to go with what they said.
Well,
I
no.
mean, they were part of the production.
Well, go ahead with what you're saying.
And we
I
can't
don't want
ask
to
Freddie
derail
on
you.
what happened because Freddie's dead, right? No, but it's done a very good job on what's presented. That's all.
Okay, yeah, I
And
do.
one of the things they were talking about, they, the band wanted to release Bohemian Rhapsody as a single, and their producer manager said, "No frickin' way! It's 6 minutes is way too long for a single, and we want this other thing done." So they fired him, and they walked out of the guy's office, and then they released it. And then there's other parts where, they're showing, him as the loser. Especially We Are the Champions, and he's the loser. So the managers just don't always know.
Right. Okay.
And the guy's argument was, "This is my money. I'm going to do it."
Okay.
They said, "No, screw you." No, I think it's interesting. Yeah, it's good to know what the inaccuracies are for sure.
Yeah, it's just that, like, well, I think the what stuck out to me when I was reading over it was that one of the scenes in there was what was it, the treatment of Mercury's HIV diagnosis received particular criticism, with I'm reading this on a Wikipedia page, with Jasper Reese describing it in The Spectator as the most callous rearrangement of the facts. The time at which Mercury learned he had HIV is disputed, but usually given as between 86 and 87, not before Live Aid in 1985, as depicted in the film. Taylor said that the other band members were not made aware until early 1989. So apparently they had a scene about him telling the band, before Live Aid 85, and I guess that makes for a good story. But why invent stories for a film that's about real things? That pisses me off.
But it's even still okay. So the band members were part of the film. Why didn't they say something?
Well, for all
Maybe
I know,
they
did.
Said, we just don't care. It happened. Doesn't matter. But anyway, that's fine.
It may be one of those things where it's like pick your battles, or hey, at least they got these things right. At least we had some ability to get. But the whole artistic license to make a good story. No, bullshit. Tell the real story. I don't want your artistic license.
Well,
I want
fine.
the real story.
Okay, so we listened to the masters, right, of the Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could see some of the commentary that went along with it on the type of musician he was.
Yeah.
That, in fact, his rhythms were a big part of it. I mean, he just had perfect rhythm.
Yeah.
It's not just good enough to have perfect pitch, but the perfect rhythm. And they just glanced over that. They didn't even say that he had that perfect rhythm. That wasn't part of what they said. They did talk about his voice and how fantastic it was, but they didn't mention that rhythmic aspects of it. So yeah, I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one thing to, have the critique of, they didn't focus on this, and they focus on that, because if you're putting together a, 2-hour movie to tell a life story, or a story of something that goes over the course of, many years, you're going to have to pick where to focus on. But then to start putting in well-documented inaccuracies, that's where...
Were they well documented?
Well, it's from what I read...
According to that commentator...
According to Wikipedia... Well, yeah, but the commentary...
Inaccurate.
No, yeah, commentary is... What I mean is that, people that take artistic license and put in things they know are not true, but it's artistic that just pisses me off. But,
but again,
chat room.
Is the commentator accurate, or was he just saying something? I bring up controversy because that's what he's supposed to be doing.
No, I think
right?
I think what he said is correct. I think that can be backed up with facts. The band generally didn't know till 89. I mean, that's easy. Ask the band. Anyways, in the chat room though, Warhawk wants to know if there's a heavy metal version of I Wonder What's Inside Your Butthole. Dune said, "Wow,
sweet."
Venison feels scared for that kid. And 5-Hit Dune then wrote in, "Yep, you just wait until the Dune and Johnny Real Hollywood special comes out." That's gonna be interesting.
The answer to the question is Klingons.
Apparently, Warhawk and Mookie are gonna write the screenplay. So, yeah. And they're going to fabricate all the facts and get it wrong for artistic license is what they're going to do.
Sweet.
With that.
See? Because they've got the inside track. Oh, by the way, last night I was watching on the History Channel this whole thing on DB Cooper.
DB Cooper.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't say that. I think I have. Actually, my neck is killing me. I'm going to blame it on that. So, and this was actually from a couple years ago. And I watched it. I didn't want to watch it, but I kept watching it. And then at the end of the part 1, I said, shit, you mean I have to go through another 2 hours worth? But I kept watching it. So I went through the entire thing, and they had a lot of things of misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
They interviewed a number of people that were prime suspects at one time in their life. And of course, at the end, it's not a solved case, it's a closed case. The FBI were putting all the stuff in boxes and shipping it off to Washington. Because the case was
not solved.
managed by a local office. I forget, it was either Seattle or Portland. Portland, I think. But they were putting it in boxes because they didn't have the resources to handle that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, they've only been doing it for 47 years.
At some point, you got to call it. Anyways.
Right.
So over the past few weeks, I've been talking about that 8088 computer I picked up and how I couldn't get any hard drives to work on it. And
oh boy.
it's one of those things you bang your head against the wall and you're like, this is stupid. They should make better hard drive technology than this. Oh wait, they did. I'm playing with stuff that's 35 fucking years old. So that's on me.
Amazing that it still works.
Well, it turns out the type of hard drive is MFM. It takes two cables that connect it to the controller, and it has to have a low-level format that matches up with the controller. And both of my ribbon cables were bad, it turned out. I ordered a set of ribbon cables like a month ago. They're somewhere between here and the UK. I ordered another set of cables last Thursday from an outfit in Colorado. I paid extra, way too much extra, for overnight shipping so that I could get them on Friday and finally get this fucking settled and figure out what the fuck's going on, because I'm just getting like pissed, like nothing works no matter what I try. I'm trying different hard drives. I'm trying different settings. I'm Googling, and I'm getting nowhere. So I'm just like, get me some fucking cables. Friday.
So you didn't want to buy a second computer, so then you'd have the parts that would work? Or a third computer?
Well, I mean, I could have done that, but then what type of computer? It's... But then you're buying more old broken computers and you don't know anything about those parts or why those aren't working. So I want to start buying new parts that I know are probably good.
Is to get an original computer with original parts working. That's what you did with your compact computer, right?
Well, I had to change some parts around, but and it's...
Yeah, but they're all from an original compact computer.
Well, really, buying a new ribbon
you didn't
cable...
add anything new to it.
Well, a new ribbon cable is not adding something new to it. It's replacing a part that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, no, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Trying to get the understanding.
Right. So I ordered the cables. Friday, no cables show up. So I call this outfit in Colorado, and I'm like, I ordered some cables yesterday, paid for next day shipping, and they're not here.
They didn't give you tracking information?
Well, that's why I called them. And they said, that's going out today. We have to custom make the cables when the order comes in, and those didn't get made.
Wow, brand new cables then.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally brand new. So they got shipped on Friday, and they said, you'll get that tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow? Next day? Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. No, they came today because they sent them next business day, not next day. So
you should be aware of that.
So,
now, in the original listing of the item, did they say it was going to be a custom cable, that they would have to make it before the order could come out?
No, there was no verbiage about same day shipping, next day is shipping, or
see, that's what they need.
Order
to have
filling.
That's what they should have is that bit of detail.
Probably most of their orders are not people.
And if there's a feedback mechanism that they offer, you should say that. You should say on the thing that these are custom made when it's ordered, and that will
It might take a day.
Might take an extra day
Yeah.
even if you say same day shipping.
So I got my cables a day, and now I thought I had a good wide cable and a bad narrow cable. And the type of wide cable I have is the type of cable that lets you connect two drives, one of them past a twisted pair, one of them not. So that's how it knows which one's drive 1 and which one's drive 2.
Right.
And my drive was set up as drive 2 without a drive 1, so it had to be connected to the twisted pair. And these new cables they sent me don't have the second connector or the twisted pair, so you can only hook up a drive 1 with it. So I'm like, well, that's okay. It was the narrow cable that was bad, so I'll hook up this narrow cable and let's see if I get things working. And no, nothing's working. I'm like, what the my replacement, I also bought another controller of the exact same model, so I got the jumpers in the right place in there, put that in. No, still no go. I'm like, okay, I can move the jumper over to make it drive 1. I can connect the cable to the drive 1 connection on the controller, and then I could use the new wide cable with the new narrow cable. That did it. So both the damn ribbon cables went bad. And I only
By
want
the way, do you know how the jumpers for the drive select on the drive work?
not completely, but I know the right position for drive 1, drive 2, drive 3, drive 4, and I know one of the drives has to have that terminator resistor on it, which my drives do have.
Okay.
My drives.
So you have it in the straight cable or the twisted?
I had it on the twist.
Only straight, right?
The new cable's only straight, so now I have it on the straight, which means I got to hook it up to the drive 1 connection on the controller, and I have my jumper set to the drive 1 position. And it spun right up. And as you can see up here on my screen, this is I did the next copy to get the contents of the original hard drive that was in that Computerland computer backed up onto my compact flash card, which I then copied onto my computer. So this is well preserved and backed up now, unless like something takes out this house. And what I found out was that this computer was at some point wiped and given a second life with DOS 3.30 and has no original Computerland software on it. So all my efforts I want to preserve this drive have been for nothing. Although I do have plenty of school work from the mid to late 90s in WordPerfect 5.1 format for my reading pleasure.
Now, do you have other disk drives from this vintage machine?
No, there was only one hard drive in this machine.
I mean, that would be an excuse to buy a second machine to see if it has the software.
Well, I'd have to buy a second...
Or even a drive from one.
Well, Brian, I'd have to buy a second Computerland BC88. And I still have a saved search whenever they show up on eBay. And I'm not going to...
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to divulge to the public when they show up because I don't want to encourage other people to bid on them when they do or don't turn up.
Right.
But
yeah, because you want to be the only guy that bids on it.
Right.
I get that.
I will say that at this time...
but you could say, yeah, it showed up, but by the way, this is a crappy computer that's way out of...
Yeah, no one's buying.
Never get anything other than DOS 3.3 to work on it.
DOS 6.22 ran on the compact flash card on it, and I can get Windows 3.0 installed, but it doesn't work very good. And I've not been able to get.
I suspect not.
I've not been able to get the serial port to work to get a serial port mouse on there. I have.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's proprietary and requires software or if I just haven't figured it out. Anyways, I will say that at this time, there are no other Computerland desktops with a hard drive included up for auction on eBay.
So you do have a mouse for it, correct?
I have a serial mouse.
Yeah. Is it that came with that machine or
no,
something else?
No. That machine didn't come with a mouse. Our family computer, we never had a mouse connected to that thing. The only thing we had on it was the keyboard and the joystick. And the joystick... Did
that serial mouse come with a driver disc?
No, it was an eBay purchase. It was just a Microsoft serial mouse. It works on my... you know what? I bought it to use with the Compact Portable 3 that Dune gave me. And it works fine on there, and I did not have to do anything extra to add software, although it only works in Windows 3.0. Windows 3.0 automatically detected it, uses it. I'd have to find a DOS driver to get it to work in DOS, I guess. But
Right.
yeah, and that's a 286 machine, so that works a bit better with
Right.
Windows 3.0.
So you got Windows 3.0 working on the compact computer.
On the Compact Portable 3, not the Compact Portable 1.
Oh, okay.
Now, I
Have
could.
you attempted on the compact portable one?
Well, the problem with doing it on the Compact Portable 1 is that has a 10 megabyte hard drive, and I think Windows 3.0 takes like 7 megabytes to install, and I'd also
Where?
and I'd have to extract it out onto like 15 5.25 inch discs, which would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
My first.
yeah.
Trying to think, did I ever have a copy of Windows on 5.25 inch discs?
Hmm. Oh, your sound went.
Oops.
Oh, there it is.
Hello.
It
damn.
it cuts out periodically, but that's okay.
Mine does.
Oh, well,
Mine
usually
does.
every now and then it drops a word, but usually we can figure out what the word is that it drops. It's not worth troubleshooting. It would be more annoying to troubleshoot it than to deal with it.
That makes me sad.
Oh, it's a game. Fill in the empty word.
Fill in the blank.
And
right.
it could be my internet connection, or it could be. I mean, there's a lot of wire between
could be an
Massachusetts
internet
and California.
glitch as well.
Yeah. So that's why I'm
And,
like not sweating it at all.
So we sneak in a conversation about coffee.
Oh,
On Twitter, I was attempting to be helpful.
oh no, I
You
was
were
just
having trouble.
well.
Actually, why don't you tell the story of your
Okay, well,
difficulties
for a while.
with Amazon, right?
Well, it started a while ago because
Damn.
usually I was buying bags of Pete's French roast whole bean coffee from the grocery store every week, and then I ran out one weekend, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make coffee tomorrow, and
Do you remember approximately what date this started happen?
oh well, this was before quarantine. So this is some point late last year, I guess. And
Late last year.
yeah, late last year, I was like, well, I could go into the car, go down the street and buy some coffee, or I could get a bag of coffee delivered next day from Amazon. So I decided, fuck it, send me some coffee. It'll get here tomorrow, and I'll be good. And when I'm signing up to do that, Amazon's like, hey, would you like to save money? I'm like, hey, you know me. You know, does the Pope crap in the woods? Yeah, wait, I think I mixed something up there. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, let's save money. And they say, if you subscribe for us to send you coffee like every month or every period of time, then you get this price. And I'm like, you know what? I probably could use another bag of coffee every month. So I signed up for a subscription service to get a big bag of Pete's French roast whole bean coffee delivered every month on a Monday. And that was
See, I've never done that with Amazon. I said, no, I don't want. In fact, sometimes it'll be automatically clicked to subscribe, and so I have to unclick it. No, I want a one-time purchase, even though I'm doing it a number of times.
Well, and you could always delay a delivery if you find, hey, I'm backed up, I don't need this one, skip it. You know, they even give you they send you an email letting you know tomorrow is your deadline to cancel the next delivery of your subscription item. So they're very good about it. I will say I've liked it.
Okay.
So, you know, bag showed up. So then when we started working from home, I was like, oh my God, I am going through way more coffee than ever, because usually I just, brew a pot on Saturday and on Sunday. But now I'm brewing coffee, 7 days a week. So I'm like, well, let's increase these deliveries. So I increased it to deliver every 2 weeks. I only brew like a half or a third a pot during the week. So I'm not.
And this is still Pete's Coffee, right?
And this was still Pete's Coffee. And then, what was it? About a month ago, I got an alert going, this item is temporarily out of stock. And I'm like, all right, it'll get in stock and they'll send it to me because I still had a full bag ready to go. So it's not like I was like down to my last drop of coffee and now they're all out. I'm like, whatever. So then another 2 weeks goes by and they go, your coffee is out of stock. I'm like, okay, this is the second delivery that's not showing up. And at this point, I'm halfway into that bag of coffee. So I'm like, if I don't get some coffee here soon, I'm going to have to actually go to a store and buy it. So I'm like, what's going on? Is there a coffee shortage? Do I need to worry about this? So I go on Amazon. I search for French roast whole bean coffee, and plenty of options that are in stock available through Amazon Prime show up. And there was one near the top that was called SF Bay Coffee, and it got the Sir Mars thumbs up seal of approval. And it was about the same price. These bags are a bit bigger, and so it comes to the same comparable price per unit. And so I'm like, okay, sign me up for those. And I signed up that subscription. I canceled my Pete's subscription. And I thought that, since Pete's is not getting my money and another guy is getting my money, that Pete's deserved to know why they lost my money. And so I sent a little friendly tweet to Pete's letting him know, well, I've been buying
Friendly my ass.
I'm buying coffee.
Yeah, in Johnny's style.
In Johnny's style,
Yeah. Curse them out.
Well, they fucked up. And
I'm actually
I gave them a month to get their shit together. And after a month, no coffee shows up. And there's plenty of other people throwing beans in my face saying, we will give you this for money, while they're over there trying to get their shit together.
But was this Amazon's fault or was it Pete's fault?
I don't know, and I don't care.
And then the next question is, when Pete's sells or anybody sells through Amazon, Amazon gets a big piece of the money. They're just the middle party.
Here's the thing.
Why don't you buy directly from Pete's?
When I go to the grocery store and put a bag of Pete's in my shopping cart, the grocery store gets a cut. And they're a pretty big corporation too.
Why don't you buy directly from Pete's?
I don't buy everything directly from the manufacturer for convenience. Because this is how the economy works, Brian. Everybody gets their piece except for us. But we got coffee.
But that's why people like to buy direct from the manufacturer.
Hey,
That's why they got places like Amazon.
Look, am I going to go into the grocery store, load up my cart, get to the checkout counter and go, if I put this all back and I take this list and I go to each individual manufacturer of each of these things one by one, I ain't going to Nabisco.com to buy my Cheez-Its. I ain't going to Post.com to buy my mini wheats. Why the hell am I going to Pete's.com to buy coffee? Why are they any different from Post or Nabisco?
Do they offer a subscription where they'll just send it to you?
I don't. Okay.
All these wineries all over the place will let you join their wine club, and they'll send you a wine every month.
This guy's just full of questions, isn't he?
All right, I
called a conversation, Venison, right?
I am going to Pete's.com right now, and okay, they do have subscriptions, and I could have done it that way, but you know what? I already have Amazon Prime. I already have them coming to my house all the time. Whatever.
So now you've got this SF Bay brand.
Right, San Francisco Bay coffee.
And do you like that?
I haven't gotten my first delivery of it yet. I'm still finishing up the last of the Pete's I have. But
so you're going to try a first bag and see how you like it.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll like it better.
I might like it better,
And this is why I was suggesting a local coffee roaster. Is there anybody in Boston that roasts coffee that you could buy their coffee?
You know what? I didn't really think much about this because all it was is I have this.
After all, it is called bean town.
But that's the baked beans, not the coffee beans. This guy, let me tell you about my friend Brian. So I moved to California. I meet my friend Brian. All I talk about is Jersey and how I'm from Jersey and how great Jersey is, even though I hadn't lived there in like 5 years. And so my birthday rolls around, and Brian goes, "Oh, I know just the cake for him, Boston cream pie, because he's from Jersey."
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, we could
now,
have
mind
gone
you,
for a Maine lobster.
it-
Wouldn't you like that?
it was delicious, and I do like me some Boston cream filled donuts, and a Boston cream pie is pretty much, you know, what the donut's based off of. So it was good. I had no complaints. But your justification for how you came to that, well, because you're always talking about New Jersey, we thought we'd buy you a Boston cream pie. I'm still scratching my head at
There
that
isn't
one.
a Jersey cream pie. What pie or cake come from New Jersey? Nothing.
Pizza pie.
You know, candle wax on a pizza doesn't go well.
No one said you had to put candles on it. You could put candles around it. I don't know.
Well, we didn't think of it. That's
No.
all.
I wasn't saying you had to get a Jersey themed cake, and it was a good cake. I just had to bust your balls because that's how we roll in Jersey. But you know,
Sure. It's your civic right to be an asshole.
it's my civic duty to be an asshole. It's what it
There
is.
you go. You're right.
Well, here's the thing, Brian's from Connecticut, if I recall correctly. So
Yes. The nutmeg state.
So
Yes.
Snob state.
So you're not quite Jersey guy asshole, but enough so that you and me had an understanding, and Nick just couldn't be, you know, like, what the fuck's up with you guys?
Exactly.
Apparently they don't roll that way in Minnesota.
You know, because they're a Midwesterner.
Yeah.
See, the thing is about the East Coast is that we're not going to wait for you to turn around to stab you in the back. We're going to stab you in the face, right? In your face. Where in the Midwest, they're very friendly to your face. Just wait until you turn around. You get it in the back. You see?
So
that's the difference.
So Nick was expecting it in the back. We were giving it to him in the front. I don't know if I
That's right,
like where
in
the
the
sentence
face.
is going.
I'm not saying a word.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll kind of let that slide.
We'll just let that slide.
It was
Yeah.
actually kind of funny. I was in the early days
Spidey,
when I
you
lived
wanted
in
to.
Denver.
Mhm.
I worked at a local Radio Shack store, and there was a local guy that was running a store. He was a really nice guy, what have you. He moved to one of the big mall stores, basically as a promotion, and this guy came in that had just moved in from New Jersey / Pennsylvania, Philly / Jersey, that area, right?
Worked in one, lived in the other type of deal. Or
And I'm not sure which side he was on.
basically, he's from
It's
Philly.
still, yeah. So, and there's all kinds of funny stories around that,
Right.
being along the border working for Radio Shack. Anyway, so this guy came. I got along with him great because I'm from the East Coast. I knew exactly what to expect from him. You know, we're going to get words face to face. Well, the other employees that couldn't get used to it had to find another store. In fact, some of them went with the prior manager to the mall store, which is fine. I would have liked to have gone too, but this one was closer to my place, and I was okay with it. I had no problem with the guy, but it was interesting to see East Coast versus quote unquote Midwesterner.
Well, speaking of East Coast versus Midwesterner, 5-Hit Dune writes in, you don't know me very well, do you?
What do you mean? Who? You?
Dune. It said, "You don't know me very well, do you?"
Was
no,
talking to you?
He's talking to the chat room. And then he says, "All I can think about is that pissed off Chinese restaurant in Cali because Johnny won't do it right."
Oh, Cali is in Colombia. Were you aware of that?
I don't think that's the Cali he's referring to. I'm not sure
I
what
don't know of any other Cali than Colombia.
Cali is short for California.
That's for lazy fucking people.
Damn right.
Is this like only people from New Jersey can call it Jersey? Only people from California can call it Cali? Well, that leaves both of us out, Brian.
Actually, if you're in California, say Cali, you're not from California. You're just an asshole.
Well, we've already established this, Brian.
Right.
Snob.
It's just expanding the definition.
Yeah. So we both could call it Cali then, because we well.
No. See, if you're from New Jersey, you can call it Jersey. If you're from California, you're not going to call it Cali. That's from an outsider.
Yeah, what are you going to call it?
That's how you can tell he's an outsider.
Okay. So right. So.
And what are you going to call it?
So I can call it Cali because I'm not.
California.
So I can call it Cali because I'm not from there.
You call it Cali if you're from Colombia.
So you're going to sit there and say the whole entire state name.
Oh my God. It takes so long to say California.
Dune.
Yes, it does.
Oh, here we go. Dune goes, "You kept ordering from DoorDash, and they were going to hook you up if you would just call them direct." Now, here's the thing. No, the restaurant in California, I did order from DoorDash, like, or whatever. No, it wasn't DoorDash. Grubhub is what we ordered from. And I think after
Totally different, right?
And I think after the second or third time I ordered from them, they were like, "Hey, dude, just call the number next time. They get a cut when you do that. You just call us direct." And I did that, and they were fine, and yeah, we were all good.
I'm sorry, calling the restaurant directly?
Yeah,
Or DoorDash directly?
restaurant directly.
Oh, and then they hook up with the DoorDash.
Well, it's not They were using Grubhub, which basically
Grubhub.
Grubhub doesn't hire drivers or doesn't. Grubhub actually is something restaurants sign up for to get orders that already provide delivery. So all Grubhub was a middleman to get orders from the internet from places that were already taking orders over the phone. So it was a way for them to drum up more business. But once they established a new customer, it was like, hey, next time, instead of going through Grubhub, just call us and we get extra money. And so that is
right.
Yeah.
Because Grubhub is or DoorDash or whoever it is, Uber Eats is collecting money from them if they've got the order.
Right. Now,
Or
Five Hit
extra
Dune.
money, shall we say?
Five Hit Dune also points out that all the locals in Lathrop all say Cali.
Lathrop.
Yeah, well,
Kansas?
No,
Jesus.
California. He was traveling out for business there,
oh.
and all the locals there, I guess, are referring to it as Cali.
Because they know that they knew that he couldn't say the word California.
Oh, come on,
right.
Brian. Let me. You're on.
Oh my
Dude,
God,
hey.
stuck up snob.
Dude.
The comment.
Dune's not so sure about you, Brian. He's on the fence about you right now. You've already been unfollowed on Twitter.
I know he's already. He already said.
You're on shaky ground right now, Brian. You can't
I've
be
been
making,
on the fence.
You can't make jokes like this right now. Hey, it's all good.
Okay.
I'm sure Dune will forgive you for all you've said, and for one good reason,
right.
and one reason only, because one thing Dune has to remember, and it'll just be as soon as I get the right folder open. What Dune's got to remember is, damn it, where is it? Why am I? Oh, here we go.
Oh, moments of dead air.
Well, it's one of those songs that I want it to start right away, but it doesn't. There we go. What Dune's got to remember is you got the party house.
That's right.
So it's all good because you got the party house.
And of course, if Dune is going to come back out to Cali, don't forget to get the cocaine
For the party house.
You guys would be pissed off.
Colombia.
I just call it Cal.
I don't know that I don't think I've said Cali myself that much. Maybe a little bit now and then, but
I've never
if you
said
did,
it.
I would have hated your guts.
well, you know what? If I ever talk about, living out there, the thing is it's not enough to say California because it's a big state. So I usually go, San Francisco Bay Area.
Right.
And
you can't just say Bay Area because people are saying, "Oh, you mean Tampa Bay?"
No, San Francisco Bay Area is how I would describe
where
where.
just
Right.
said Bay Area.
Right. They could say
and
Tampa
you're
Bay.
in a bigger
Yeah.
area.
I tell you, man. You either get Cal or Ka, and that's it. Live with it.
But I did not object to those two.
Uh-oh. We lost your audio.
What?
Oh, it's back.
My audio's gone.
That time that time we lost like 5 words. So
Okay, so I don't even remember what I was saying.
that's okay. We don't know either. Anyways, where was we? Oh yes. So we got this backup of the hard drive that does not contain Computerland software, unfortunately. Best I can figure is this computer at some point took on a second life as a family computer in the mid to late 90s, and all the documents have a modified date for the file properties of January 1st, 1980. So the calendar was not keeping time or date back then either. But I did browse through some of the WordPerfect 5.1 documents that were saved on this hard drive. And like I said, it's school projects that date from the mid to late 90s from what little browsing I did. And there's a lot of reading material on this drive. I got to read someone's sex education paper. I learned quite a bit, actually.
Sweet. Finally.
Yes. Yeah.
And you discovered that you've been doing it wrong for years.
Is there any wrong way? Is there really any wrong way?
I don't know.
You
haven't shared this paper yet.
Actually, there is a wrong way to do it, and that's.
Wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole. Maybe there are astronauts.
Yeah, that's not the right way to do it.
Too bad anal cunt is still around. Like to hear their metal version of it.
You can't understand any of their lyrics. You just play any one of their songs and say that that's their version of it. All right. So now this hard drive does include their installation of Quicken on here. I have not dug into that. I am not going to dig into that, and I'm especially not going to dig into that live on a stream right here. So we're going to exit out of that. So even if it's a 1980s hard drive running DOS 3.30 that uses really obscure type of hard drive connectors that almost no one knows how to use anymore, don't send it to me without wiping it. I think that's what we've learned right here. Because I will find it. Now, in my defense,
if I have a hard drive that I'm going to get rid of,
mm-hmm.
I'll go to Home Depot, since Osh doesn't exist anymore, and buy a big spike and drive it through the hard drive, shattering the platters.
That's an idea. Let's see. Race the Nags could not find either a VGA or an EGA video system in your computer. At least EGA capabilities. Huh. Some types of EGA adapter cards cannot be detected by Race the Nags. I don't know what this is, but it won't let us play it. So, oh well. That one I might be able to play on the original computer.
But what's the dash R option? I can't quite read the screen.
Yeah, well, it's a hard screen to read. I'll try a dash R. Let's see. Oh, a dash E to detect the forcing it in the EGA mode. Well, it should work in VGA mode though.
Well, just shall we say you're just trying it, trying different options.
Yeah, let's try it with let's try it with forced EGA mode. I don't know what this is. I haven't tried to run this yet, so I'm just.
Maybe it's a secret way to format your hard drive. So I was working for this outfit in Houston, and they let go the guy that was the lead supervisor of the IT department.
Uh-huh.
And so they went into his office. We're letting you go, blah, blah, blah. He went to his computer and he typed in format/S.
Yeah.
I forget which it was. Entered. So anything on his hard drive was gone. And they just let it happen.
And that's fine. Well, nowadays, basically, it's like, dude, we back that shit up regularly. We'll just go get the last set of backup tapes and restore.
Right. Well, we didn't have that back then.
Well, that reminds me of, I wonder if I should even talk about this.
Just make up the company that you were working for.
Well, there was a company. Let's call
Marco.
Let's call them Marco, and let's say they make bags, and let's say they had a location in the city of Neatle.
Yes.
I don't know if this code is working.
Was this back when Papa Smurf worked for them?
Who's Papa Smurf?
Do you remember Papa Smurf?
Schmitty?
The older guy. That started at office. Or was he gone then?
I didn't know anyone that we'd call Papa Smurf.
Yeah, so Papa Smurf was a really nice guy up in what was the name of the town that you said? Schmeattle.
Schmeattle, yeah.
Schmeattle. Up in the Schmeattle office. Really nice guy. He had, I'm thinking he had a heart attack and he went in and had an operation for bypass surgery. Kind of normal stuff. Came out of surgery, everything was good. He was in a hospital. I think you're in the hospital typically a week, something like that. And then suddenly he died.
Ooh.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This guy survived everything and then he died. Super nice guy. He was a bitch.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Schmitty, which that's right. That's what we called him, right?
Yeah, that's what we called him. I mentioned that to him in passing once.
It.
Oh, I know. I told him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he didn't know for a long time. I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah. Everybody called him Schmitty, and he didn't know it until Johnny spilled the beans.
Yeah, well, when I started sending him the picture with the bunny with the pancake on it, said I had to explain. Oh yeah, we call you Schmitty sometimes. He started asking, "Was this some kind of a name for me?" I'm like, "No, it's my way of saying I don't know what you're talking about." But anyways. No, that's not who I'm talking about. Who was I going to talk about? There was some people in Seattle. I guess I could talk about this because I really don't know anything about it. All I know is that when you get a request from like a department like Schmar to recover data from backup tapes, usually that means some shit went down, and so I went to the backup tape, and that's when I found out that there are about 3 or 4 people's user folder that mysteriously became completely empty at some point within the last month or so. And they had us like digging older backup tapes to try to find like when there was still data in those drives. And I don't know if we recovered anything or what we recovered, but at some point there were some people that were flat out trying to hide some shit in Seattle. and we had,
So were these people, shall we say, former employees?
I think they became former employees shortly after the shit went down.
Oh.
I don't remember the details. I don't remember the names. I remember one. Well, actually, I don't remember his name. I know one person who was involved that I actually met, and if I thought long enough, I could probably come up with a name. But I'm not going to do that. And I think there was at least
So what you're going to learn from all of this story is that guy that works in the IT department, even though his only quote unquote help desk, he can get into your data.
He knows stuff, you know, and he can fill in from context. What I could figure out was that there was something that went down that at least 4 people were involved with covering up, and one of them was pretty high up, and that's what I knew, and I've said nothing about it till this day.
So did you ever get requests from people to access certain data, and you had to deny that you had that ability?
Not
right, like the government has asked Apple to provide access to like a cell phone for a bad guy, and they deny that they can do that.
Well, I've never been in that position. I basically I've rarely been asked about recovering data, and when I have, usually it's data that is their own data that they deleted, so there's no moral question coming to play here. And a lot of times it's something that I can do by going into like the shadow recovery on the drive that they're on, so I don't even have to bother asking anyone about tapes.
Oh, so they deleted a file and then go, oops, and then you just go and pull it out of the trash can.
Now, one time I had someone,
as it were.
The only thing I could think of that's kind of like that, someone asking me for access to something that they were not authorized for, was when I was working at Walmart. One guy asked me if I could take him to the security room so he could check the security monitors for his kid that was missing. And
did you say yes or no?
I said no, but you've just alerted me that we have a code Adam. So how old's the kid and what color hair is he? And he mumbled a few things I could barely understand, and he ran off. And so I had to go call on the code Adam without a hair color even. And then we couldn't find the guy. And eventually we actually had to cancel the code Adam without any resolution because we couldn't find this guy. We're paging this guy to come to the counter so that we could, keep the code Adam going.
We're trying to bust into your system. That's why he ran off.
Well, at some point, someone saw him with his kid later on in the store and said, "Oh yeah, it was fine." But when someone says kid's missing, stores got to basically, stop doing what they're doing, and everyone that works at the store walks around looking for a kid until the kid is found. But being that this was a guy mentioned his kid's missing and then disappears. Don't do that, okay, people? Don't do. If your kid's missing and you tell a store employee, don't disappear.
He's the kidnapper looking. He saw this kid.
Yeah.
He was going to snatch him, but then the kid's disappeared, so he goes to report it. Oh, by the way, I'm missing my kid because he wants to snatch him.
This guy didn't seem suspicious. He just seemed like an idiot. That was my take on it.
Or maybe the guy was DB Cooper.
It could have been. Actually lost his kid, but didn't anyone identify who he was?
Okay. Weren't you trying to do something with that old computer? And somehow we got on the DB Cooper again.
Yeah, let's take.
Yes.
Should we poke around some more in here? I've not found a whole lot. Apparently, we got a game called Nags that don't work in DOSBox. We do have a Monday Night Football game that has the worst computer sound effects I have ever heard in the history of sound effects.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. You got to hear
So
this.
this is actually DOSBox rather than your old. Oh, that's right, because you don't have a connection to the old computer to be able.
Right. I'm limited to what I can do with the old computer. All right. We'll make. I haven't actually gotten as far as playing this game, but all right. So PC internal speaker. There we go.
Testing.
And we could set how fast or slow the speed goes.
Testing. Testing.
So I think that's the speed we're supposed to go at.
What are the other output options?
Well, no,
Because
basically,
I was dithering a little bit with the with.
there are two
Basic.
options: no sound or PC speaker. And this is a game
Oh, Swift.
that is getting voices on a PC speaker. Now that is that is impressive, but it's also shit.
Well, on this computer, what if you played it on the BC computer?
You know what? I played on the BC computer, and I couldn't even understand what that voice was saying testing. It was even worse on the PC.
No.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Because I was playing with the Q Basic a little bit with some of your sound stuff,
Yeah.
and actually on this laptop I got nothing. Oh, that's right, there is no damn PC speaker.
Ah, there's your problem. You need
What's wrong with this thing? This is supposed to be. This is a Lenovo Legion Y520. It's an awesome gaming machine. It has a NVIDIA GeForce GTX graphics kit. I mean, it's an amazing machine, but it doesn't include a PC speaker for the ancient games.
Yeah. So now we're getting some
That's
craptastic
sad or what?
CGA graphics here. Season Ticket Productions, Park Place Production Team, Oceanside, California.
Oh, okay. It came up. I go, wait a minute. You just got lines.
Monday Night Football.
Now that is not bad considering it's PC speaker.
And this is CGA.
Yeah.
That's not too
Wow.
Now, this game does have.
Since there is no football going on right now, you can watch this.
Yeah. Now there is EGA graphic options on this game, but the computer downstairs doesn't have an EGA card in it. So this is what. That's why I selected CGA, so you could see what this would actually look like on the machine I found it in.
Yeah.
And that was some awful sounds, wasn't it? I think we just deafened Dune.
Excuse me, sir. May I please have your security password?
All right, this is where you have to have the original book in order to play the game. Luckily, I have the internet, and the internet tells me that the passcode on page 63 is, mind you, this is how people did copy protection in the 80s, and
Yes.
it was foolproof except for everyone that had access to a photocopier, which is anyone that has a job at an office. So it was not foolproof at all. So our password for 63 is 50 is what it is. So
Or you could go to Kinko's.
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
I had a
So the
game that
code
did
works.
that.
Yeah. And now the game is loading, and there's Frank Gifford.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Deardorff.
This is
Let's go down to the field for the starting action.
this is awful. This is absolutely awful.
Hey, it even looks like him.
Hey, it's the Sony blimp. Who says you can't? Who says 4 colors isn't enough for decent graphics? Huh?
Oh, there's the Sony blimp. I'm watching the YouTube
Yeah.
in delay. Oh, and the stadium with all those people.
And I'm way delayed.
Yeah. I guess I could try to find a way to share the capture instead of my camera. Well, that would that would be complicated. So I don't know if it's stuck or if it's waiting for me to push a button. But I did push some buttons. Oh, there we go.
So is that a moon in the corner there?
Yeah, that is. Oh, I know
kind of
what's
in front of
wrong.
the blimp.
I still have my DOS box configured to run really slow and in CGA mode. That's why the other game didn't work, because I'm actually emulating a CGA computer in DOS box right now. I'd have to change my config file to emulate. But here we're gonna boost the clock a bit on this, and that should
There's
get.
the blimp.
All right, so one gamer practice, one gamer exhibition versus computer, two gamer exhibition head to head, two gamer exhibition teammates, 1 to 4 gamer playoffs, 1 to 10 gamer playoffs, and demo mode or exit to DOS.
Well, why don't you put on demo mode for a little bit, so then we don't have to stare
All
at
right.
it, make choices. Hopefully, it'll just go.
Yeah. All right. There we go. So we got San Francisco versus Los Angeles, and they're. Oh, well, you know what? This is one of these games that works too fast if the clock is too fast. So let me. It was probably a good thing I had the clock set to like the speed of the computer downstairs. Okay, we're gonna fix this.
Oh, it even gives us
yeah.
chipmunk voice.
Yeah, so here we go. I'm getting the clock speed back down to the right range.
Second down.
There we go.
20 to go.
Second down, 20 to go. Doesn't that mean they got sacked for 10 yards? I don't know much about football, but I think it's, 10 yards, and they call the strikes downs, and you get 4 of
Some
them.
kind of a penalty.
Yeah.
45. 26.
And there he goes. And uh-oh, he's in trouble. Yeah, that's bad when that happens.
By the way, do you ever watch Expedition Unknown?
No, I don't.
This is on the Discovery Channel, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's this Josh Gates that hosts it, and he's this dorky guy that's his background is in archaeology, and he goes all over the place and searches out treasures and this and that and the other thing. And so he just did a show where he's at his house because of the quarantine, and he talked to different people through Zoom, I presume, and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. But he was talking about axe throwing as a
Oh,
sport.
that's a hell of a sport.
But he was not aware that that's an international sport, and they're working out these teams and these, complex deal. Last season, in fact, the way I know about it is that I was watching it on ESPN just the last few seconds. I think I saw the last toss of the axe in the competition. It's a pretty cool sport. And he's going, don't try this at home. Really? Actually, you should try this home, but find people that do it that can show you how to do it properly.
Well, yeah. Don't just randomly try it at home, I think is what that means.
Right. Because there are standards. They have these different leagues with different types of axes, including tomahawks.
Right.
Because size and weight matter.
So anyways, so that's Monday Night Football. And
From football to axes.
this is impressive considering it's a game with CGA graphics and a PC speaker. I do have to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I think we're going to
And now you don't have Tetris on this machine, do you?
I've not found Tetris on it. I've not gone through everything yet, though. I just dumped this earlier today. I will tell you what I found that was amusing. I found this amusing, Brian, and you might too. So when this computer boots up, I'm going to run the auto exec file, and this is basically the stuff it runs when it boots up to the hard drive. And it didn't like that. I got to find the program it runs now. There's a program it runs that basically goes to a menu. I think it's just called menu. CD menu, menu. So this is what the computer boots up into, which is some kind of a DOS-based GUI, I guess. And it's got different options here. Accounting
Oh, there
programs,
it is.
DOS utility menus, general utilities, database, training and education, word processing, games. So of course
Yeah.
I'm like, let's check out what games we have here. And I hit enter, and it requires a password to get into the games.
Son of a
So
bitch.
I'm thinking that they lock down the games so that the kids can't just goof off with the games when they're supposed to be doing their schoolwork. Now here's the problem with this, though.
Now, was this like a menu.com or menu.exe?
Menu.exe is the program in a folder called Menu.
Now, is there a menu.dat file or menu.config?
Well, let me explain. I don't even need that. You know why? Because if I exit the DOS and I
Then
go
you just run the game.
cd.games and I look in there, there's all my games. Heck, we can play some Jogger, and there we go.
Sure. Sure.
So I suppose one theory could be that if the kids don't know enough about computers, and they'll never figure out that the password is meaningless. But that was,
kids would never figure that out because they're not that smart.
but that's not how things worked in my house growing up with me and my brother and sisters.
In the real world, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Now, after all, kids today can show you how to use your cell phone even though they've never seen one before.
yeah. So that is like the
Of
most.
course, you have them a cassette tape or an 8-track tape, and they go, "What is this for?"
Yeah. So that right there is the most useless password protection I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got one of those worse. I had a
Do you
game
know what
where.
Do you know what?
Wait a minute, Brian.
I'm
I had
sorry,
a game where. I had a game where, you had to. Well, you played the game first, but after a few minutes or after a little while, it stops and then asks you to identify this graphic. And if you don't, your character dies and the game resets.
Oh.
Now then, I found out, sometimes I could do it, but I found an easier way. Every couple or few minutes, save the game. So if it
then
does
you
that,
start where you were.
yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
And just keep on going.
And then it quit in another 20 minutes, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
I'll turn the
That's
volume.
the way you get around it. So screw that security setting. Find ways
Windows
around it.
3.0 comes with a blackjack game, doesn't it?
What's that?
Windows 3.0 comes with blackjack, right?
Well, yeah, but we don't got Windows 3.0
3.1.
on here. This is only a DOS machine.
I know, but I mean, you put on 3.0 on another machine, right?
And blah.
I briefly put 3.0 on the machine on the flash card, but I took it off because I couldn't really do anything with it because I couldn't get the mouse working and it was taking up a lot of disk space. But I can put 3.0 on it. And 3.0 on a CGA works in black and white.
This ought to be interesting.
But you have the list of games that comes with it, right?
Well, 3.0 comes with Solitaire, and I think it still came with Reversi. I think 3.1 is when they replaced Reversi with Minesweeper.
Didn't an early version come with blackjack?
No, but I mean, most Windows had some entertainment packs, and blackjack was a pretty common game to come with one of the entertainment packs.
So the earlier versions of blackjack had this little feature of what you do is you bet a negative number and lose on purpose, and then you get that amount as a positive because you lost a negative amount. Boom, you win.
Yeah. I don't think that's on any version I played, but that's amusing.
Then That's an interesting version of pinball.
I know the version of blackjack that the Microsoft Entertainment Pack came with was Dr. Blackjack, which is like that annoying person that sits next to you at a blackjack table in a casino that lets you know that you're doing it wrong. You know those assholes that they're like, well, actually,
I have not had the pleasure, but I understand the concept.
well, actually, you shouldn't have
Can
hit.
you punch him in the face?
You shouldn't have hit on that because see, if you didn't get that card, then the dealer would have had to have drawn that, and they would have bust, and we would have all won. But since you hit, now we all lose. I'm like, yeah, but how did I know what the next card was going to be? Next card could have given me 21. Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, best practice is. And then, when I continued hitting, when I wanted to hit, everyone got up and left the table and went to another table to not play with me anymore. Because apparently it's my fault that they're losing because I want to hit when I want to hit. Because, I ain't going to win blackjack with a 13. I just, I think he should hit on a 13. But they're like, no, you bet the dealer's going to bust. You want to do is not bust and bet on the dealer busting. I'm like, I don't think that's a sound. But Dr. Blackjack would teach you those rules, and they would also teach you how to count cards. So,
which in many casinos, that's not legal.
Well, it's not
counting cards.
It's not legal. It's not illegal. Well, it's not illegal. It's just that a casino is allowed to ask anyone to leave that they want to leave, and if they detect that you're counting cards, they might ask you to leave.
They'll send somebody up in a black suit and throw you out.
No pants, no vaccine, no show. What's this?
Well, we were talking about vaccines before. I thought I just
no, I got shorts on is what I got on. I got does that count?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I got no pants again.
Well, Dr. Blackjack also taught you how to count cards and how to not get to, because basically counting cards is keeping track of the numbers of tens and face cards, because the more tens and face cards that are in a deck, the more likely the dealer is going to bust, and the more likely you're going to win. So it has to has to do with betting high when there's a lot of tens in the deck and betting low when there's less tens in the deck, because that's
just don't do something that's makes it obvious that you're counting cards.
Right. And so counting cards would tell you, don't when your value that you're keeping track of tells you to lower your bet, wait till you lose a hand, then lower a bet. If you win and then lower a bet, that's suspicious. So they taught you there's general rules of thumb for counting cards without being asked to leave. Now, the thing is, though, is that they could ask you to leave at any time, and if you win a lot of money at blackjack, you might reach a point where someone kindly asks you to pick a different game. I've not had that problem.
Right, because the casino doesn't like when you win, and I would just say that. Well, you don't want me to win, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did not have that problem because I kept hitting and busting and drove everyone away from the table and lost my shirt. And so that's why I stick.
Yet you're still wearing a shirt.
That's why I stick to craps.
I always did pretty good at blackjack.
I do good at blackjack on a computer. But when I played in the casino,
yeah, I do.
Here's the thing I learned. I don't know, and you maybe call me an idiot, because when I walked into a casino, I'd never been to a casino before, and I kind of figured I could figure out enough that I don't need to do research, and I knew enough that I didn't get kicked out or didn't piss anyone off. But I did sit down to play blackjack at a table, and I knew what the commands are when playing blackjack on a computer. Hit, stand, hit, stand. And so I was there, saying hit. And they're like, no, you gotta touch the table. I'm like, oh, hit. Because they want all your motions to be visible because they got the camera that doesn't have sound that's capturing anything. Because what I could do is I could say hit and not do that, and then I bust, and then I go, I didn't say hit. And so, but if I do that and the camera captures that, then there's no questioning it. That was hit. So you gotta play with finger motions when you play blackjack at a casino table.
Because you're on camera.
Because you're on camera, and that way, if there's ever any
Right.
question about the dealer did something that they shouldn't have done, it's all visual verification. They're not going to go check the audio.
So
Hit
it's
with the
just like
middle
when a-
finger.
Middle finger.
There you go. That's one way to do it.
You're funny. So when a cop pulls you over, make sure that he can see both hands because his eyes are his cameras.
Yes, that is also a good rule of thumb.
Yes.
The other thing I remember about
And make deliberate moves. Do exactly what he says.
the other thing I remember about playing blackjack with that dealer that taught me about the hand motions was at one point I asked for a hit, to hit, and she said, "Are you sure?" Because I guess it was a combination that one would typically not hit for, and I was like, "Yeah, hit," and I hit, and I got like 20 or 21, and I said, stand, and she did her thing, and I won. And she said, "Wow, that was a good hit." I got complimented. So that's the thing. If you do the wrong things and you win, you get complimented. If you do the wrong things and you lose, you get everyone around you standing up and walking away, leaving you all by yourself at your own table.
So I'm sorry. So when you said
That's
hit,
good.
What was in your cards?
I don't remember the details, but I was probably somewhere, in a 14 or a 15, and I probably said hit, and it was probably one of those situations where you're betting on the dealer to bust, and so you're better off staying. Because that's the thing that they say is that your advantage against the house is the house has to hit and you don't. So that means that you can not bust in situations where the dealer would bust. But I still think that there are plenty of times, the dealer could very easily have 2 face cards and have a 20. And I'm going to go up against that with a 15. Heck, there might be a 5 or a 6 there. Let's try that. So I'll
It would really piss him off. It would piss him off if you had a 20 and you said hit and you got dealt an ace.
Yeah, that would piss him
But
off.
also, the one reason why she could be suggesting that questioning that you're making a hit, because that was the risky move
Yeah.
from what she knew, and maybe she was actually suggesting that you stand,
She was.
and if that was actually the favorable move, then you've tipped her.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Dealers are your friend because dealers are not playing with their money; they're playing with the house's money, and dealers that lose have people that are winning money tipping them. So dealers want to be losing. Not intentionally, because then that would get them fired.
I mean, it depends. I mean, you could get a dealer that's just strictly for the house because the house pays him well.
Yeah, but generally dealers are your friends. They're not certainly they want to be
It's a little
your.
bit like the bartender.
They want you to sit there with
Bartender will give
and
his
yeah.
people that he likes the free drinks.
So
Right.
a blackjack dealer will give a few tips to a newbie, basically, and so she was verifying the unusual hit I was making, and then she complimented me on it because I stuck with it and I won with it, and 'cause I don't. What's the point of playing blackjack if you're going to study it, memorize a set of rules, and just play that? You may as well just walk up to the counter and say, 20 hands of blackjack. Okay, you owe us, $50. That's what it may as well be if you're going to do that. To me, if you really want to, If you're gambling, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for fun. And yeah, it's good to know the basics to try to win, but you should also use some judgment calls and use some guts. And there's the fun in there, and just going with your gut feeling.
There's nothing like the super confidence as you throw $100 down the rat hole.
Yeah, but you do it like $10 at a time. Here's what I'll say: blackjack, more fun than a slot machine. Because let me give you my take on a slot machine. Because they have the handles there, but they're for decoration. The handle only lets you bet one line, and generally it's better to bet more lines. So really, if you're using a slot machine, you're pushing buttons. So what is a slot machine but a machine that you put money in? It flashes a dollar amount of the amount of money you have, and you basically keep pushing a button and watch the amount of money you have generally get lower and lower and lower and lower as you keep pushing a button. That's not my definition of a good time.
Well, so my brother knows this woman that was really good at a slot machine. She would win and win and win and win. She was winning so much money that she would give it away, to the level that the IRS said, "Who did you give that money to? Because we want to collect the gift tax." And she wouldn't tell them.
Oh.
So then she had to pay the tax. And she says, "I don't care. I just won this money from a slot machine."
The IRS don't like it when you don't answer their questions.
Exactly. So then the casinos changed the algorithm on the slot machine so she couldn't win anymore. So she gave it up.
Well, what was the algorithm that you could... How do you get good and win? Because it's supposed to be random. It's supposed to be like, flipping a coin or rolling the dice.
Here's the secret. Are you ready for the secret?
Okay.
There's no such thing as a random number.
That's not true. You can buy books of random numbers.
And none of the numbers in the books are actually random.
Now, I understand that the concept of random number and how do you get that truly to be by chance is quite a deep topic, and that it is actually difficult to get truly random numbers. But the level they go to on the slot machines, generally the people that are cheating at slot machines are programming things in there to make things that are not random intentionally. So no, I'm not. I'm going to need further explanation how she's able to figure out a pattern to the slot machines. Well,
she had let's just say she had the internal computer that would figure out when it was going to hit, and she was good at that.
And she'd bet big when she knew it was going to hit, and bet small.
She would know it was going to hit, I guess.
In other words, she was a hacker.
But not actually reading the computer program or changing it.
This is highly suspicious. I detect foul play.
But the casino never caught her cheating.
That doesn't mean she didn't cheat.
Well, there would be a reason why they changed the algorithm.
Either that, or they found something that they couldn't prove was intentional, or or maybe right. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Speculation on my part.
Yeah, my brother never suggested that she actually cheated.
No, but I'm just saying that seems suspicious to me at first glance of the story. But I don't know.
So I worked at a games department at an amusement park where they had this mechanized machine where you put a slot in a number and then the wheel would spin and it would stop at a number. Well, people would figure out if you push the button at a certain, like as it went around to 1, you hit the button exactly, they'd figure out where the thing would land, and then they would play that number, and then they would be winning regularly. They would walk away from the thing when you would have some idiot that would sit there with his finger on the button, so it would ruin his chances. And they would just walk away, let that customer screw it up for everybody else,
Right.
and then they would come back to the machine, start playing again, and winning. So
Yeah.
there was one guy that was at one of these games where cigarette cartons were the big win. So he had these stacks of cigarette cartons. And so you talk to the guy and says, "Oh, so what are you going to do with all these cigarette cartons?" "Oh, he sells them because he didn't smoke."
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a
Okay.
form of currency in certain places.
Yeah. The amusement park was in Massachusetts, and I think he came over from Connecticut where the taxes were higher.
I still remember the story about like New Jersey putting a like online cigarette tax in place, or something. Or no, it was something like New Jersey had a cigarette tax. People were figuring out that if they bought their cigarettes online, they weren't paying the tax because they were buying them from out of state. Somehow the state of New Jersey figured this out, and somehow they're able to get certain data and monitor certain things. And so there was a bunch of people that basically got a tax bill from the state of New Jersey at the end of the year going, "We've got records that you made these purchases. You owe this much tax on those cigarettes." So that's got to be a kick in the teeth, thinking you're getting away with something. And then that letter shows up in the mailbox courtesy of the state of New Jersey demanding their cut.
So what happened to me was I was
They
buying
can monitor everything.
from Newegg when I was living in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought this computer and I sent it to my brother in Connecticut. And the state of Connecticut asked eBay, at Newegg, who was buying from Connecticut, and they squealed on me.
Ooh.
So Connecticut sent me a bill for the tax.
Ah. Did you pass that on to your brother?
No, the computer was for me.
Oh, your brother bought it for you, or
No, I bought it, but had it shipped to my brother's address.
so it was. Oh, okay, that was just a point of delivery
Because
Got
I
it.
was living in Singapore.
Yeah.
And I was going to see him pick it up.
I see. Okay, I got it. now.
Anyway, so I just pay the tax,
Yeah, well, when the
and
bill
then,
comes.
then Newegg apologized that they ratted on us. Really? Well, it's a little late, dude.
Well, if they were legally obligated to, I don't know that why
No,
they
they
need
did.
to.
No, they didn't have to. I think they later realized that they didn't actually have to. Now, Amazon started paying California sales tax because it was becoming such a issue. They decided, let's not fight it. We're just going to charge a sales tax. After all, it's not us paying the tax; it's the customers.
Yeah.
You're obligated to pay the taxes
I
anyway.
mean, that's a losing battle. The whole, tax-free
Sure.
selling on the internet thing. We all know that's.
Well, I knew a lot of people that would do mail order even before the internet was going.
Oh
They
yeah.
would buy mail order out of a catalog to avoid paying the taxes. Because,
Well, I remember. Yeah.
that 3.5% was a big deal to them.
Well, I remember when I was in college. I had a French horn. It was a cheap French horn, and my French horn teacher always criticized my French horn every week when I went for my lesson. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
I'm a music recording major. I'm not a performance major. What do I need a good horn for? And he'd still, give me a hard time about it. So finally, he got to the point where he was making comments to me like, the teachers tell me they wouldn't be so nice to you like I'm being, that they'd require you to buy a more expensive instrument because you're a music student. I'm thinking to myself, who in the hell is forcing people to buy instruments in this college? I don't see that going on. I don't know, but my dad said, you know what, when your teacher's saying things like that, maybe you should do it. And so he suggested to me that, you got the money, you could do it, buy a nice horn, you could sell it later if you don't want it. And I'm glad I did it in the end. But I went to my teacher and I said, "Yeah, we're going to buy a horn. What do you recommend?" He goes, "Oh, the Holton Farkas, just like this one here. I love this one. You buy one of those." How
can you go wrong with a name like Farkas?
Exactly. And he said, "I know just a place to buy it. There's this outfit out of Virginia that sells them. It has the best price. You know what the best part is? Since you're buying it, through their website, no tax. Save a lot of tax on the $2,000 purchase." So I bought a $2,000 French horn, tax free, online, and I still have it. And then that ended up being that teacher's last year. The next year, I meet my new horn teacher, who had a horn that was not as nice as mine, and was like, "Wow, that is a really nice horn." Too bad I can't play it as good as she could have. But yeah. And when I told her the story, she's like, "Oh, that's crazy. I would have. You shouldn't have bought that." I'm like, "No, hey, I have it now. I'm happy." I let you go. "Well, it is a beautiful horn. It's a great horn." And well, you've heard me play it. It. I am so out of shape though. I was gonna practice. The only problem is it's so loud and noisy to practice, and I'm a bit self-conscious about practicing in view of other people.
I wanted a saxophone, and nobody would get me one.
Oh,
so why don't you
wanna...
get one now?
Give me money.
Well, how much would a saxophone cost you?
Nowadays, I have no idea.
Well, let's take a look here. Alto. What do you want? Alto, tenor, Barry, soprano.
Alto.
All right, let's take a look what we got here. Alto saxophone. Let's see, $250, $150, $200, $237, $320, $325, $84, but that's got 21 bids on it. I'm seeing buy it nows for $150. I don't know what kind of condition these are in though. But you're looking at $100, $200, $300 basically.
Well, that's just it. What kind of sax do most jazz players play?
Well, the guy I play with plays tenor sax.
But alto's good too.
But you'd also, and Kenny G plays a soprano, but who gives a shit? It's Kenny G.
I think that's one of those instruments, if you learn one, you can apply the same fingerings to the others.
More or less.
It's not a matter of playing it. It sounds is what I'm looking for. Because, I was mostly into jazz. So I wanted a jazz sax.
Who do you listen to?
Oh, God, I can remember names right now. I'm drunk.
Oh. So what I do is you put together that list of who plays, and you look them up on YouTube, and you can see which horns they play.
Oh, hey, Holton Farkas's sell used.
Or you could just use Google. What does Sonny Williamson or Robinson, whatever his name is?
Look it up in Wikipedia.
Looks like Holton Farkas's still sell for around $2,000. That's good.
My parents wouldn't buy me a saxophone either. I would have been
There you
good.
go. Wikipedia has a list of jazz saxophonists. Charlie Parker, who played alto and tenor. Sonny Stitt, I don't know him, alto and tenor. That's early. John Coltrane, Sonny Rollins. That's actually who I was thinking of before. So anyway, so you get all these names together, and then you watch them on YouTube and see what they're playing with. I mean, and it's easy to figure out, what they're playing. And you go, yeah, I love that sound. What are they using?
Exactly.
And then you'll need to find a music teacher.
Yeah. Well, you could probably watch.
You can't just pick up a horn and you start playing it.
You can watch some YouTube videos.
I think you want to take lessons, at least for a while.
Yeah, I did that in school. Took lessons, but
On
they
a
wouldn't give
saxophone?
me a sax. No, they wouldn't give me one. And my parents wouldn't buy me one, so I got stuck with a French horn.
The French horn's a cool instrument. Besides, brass is better than woodwind.
Yeah,
Ah!
but saxophone is kind of brass.
Woodwind.
Saxophones are sexy.
Woodwind instruments have too many buttons.
Don't
The guy
matter.
that's simple-minded.
Woodwind instrument involves vibrating a piece of wood and pushing a lot of buttons. Brass instruments take
Yeah.
lips. You wanna, brass takes lips.
you wanna be
you
good
gotta
with
make
the
sound
saxophone,
with
you
your
gotta have
lips. I'm making sound with my lips
And cheeks.
right there. And no lips. It's all buzzing the lips. Is what you gotta do.
Tell that Dizzy Gillespie.
Whatever. To each their own.
all that time he was blowing into that brass. His cheeks got about 3 times their
You
size.
can, yeah. You can play some jazz brass. You can play some jazz French horn. I think jazz French horn's probably a thing if I Google it.
No, saxophone.
There we go. Here we go. Right
uh,
here. Right here. We got a video saying French horn jazz. So let's check this out. Here we go. Oh, we got a little backing track. We got drum and the Rhodes, and and here comes the horn.
Not sexy.
I disagree. I think this is quite sexy.
Who is the musician?
I don't know. Giovanni Hoffer, Latin jazz French horn player. Latin jazz with
I
French
think it sounds
horn.
pretty cool.
No, it says Latin jazz with French horn. Is what it actually I read. I was reading it wrong. The bass player looks kind of like Frank Zappa.
You're not sharing the screen, man.
That's hard to do, man.
You got the gear, man.
Okay, let's see what I can do here.
And you think this sounds good?
Yeah, Brian's digging it.
I like that mellow tone to it.
Brings me back to your K-Tel collection.
Woohoo! Wow, you're cutting them quick there, Venison. That's usually my job.
Why is it?
Keyboard solo there.
Why is it capturing like the whole screen? I don't want it to capture the whole screen.
There it is. I got it. It comes up.
I want to tell it to only capture part of the screen. Oh, here we go. No, it only let me capture the whole screen.
That's okay. It's a bigger image, so that's fine.
Okay.
Although we're seeing the guy on the piano right now rather than the French horn. And where's the guy that looks like Frank Zappa?
There he is on the right.
Standing up by the microphone.
Oh,
Of course, we're back at the piano player again.
he's sitting in the chair in the background on the right with the bass.
Oh, okay. And what instruments did he have? Again, it was just a half a second. Oh, he's on guitar. Since Frank Zappa plays guitar.
Oh, I think he's a bass player on this. But he's sitting behind the French horn
Again,
player.
It was an image that was about a half a second.
Here's the French horn player.
Okay, now change the camera angle to the guy with the French horn. Come on.
Well, I don't think you should play this too much longer. You know, YouTube copyright and all.
Obviously, he's not a blues player because he has a music stand in front of him. You know the rule, though, right?
It's an interesting mouthpiece.
Yeah,
he's
look at
got.
the
There are no music stands in blues.
lady falling asleep.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That was too quick for me.
That's what French horn will do to you.
All right, here we go.
Well, he's
Let me.
got one of those cheap wire mics, music stands too.
All right, here's a shot.
You get a good.
Is that a good horn or is it a crappy horn?
I don't know. It sounds good to me, but I'm not an expert. Anyways, I just did a pause so you could see the drummer, the French hornist, and the bass player on the right there. And, yeah, the bass player
Oh yeah,
looks.
bass player looks. It is Frank Zappa.
It is Frank Zappa. He's come back from the dead, and is,
Okay, so and how? When was this put out?
2007. Is
Now you see, if it was a saxophone, she'd be fingering herself.
Are you kidding?
Ooh,
Are you kidding?
cut it down.
Saxophone. Could be the ugliest. All right,
Says the French horn player.
So we got the French horn there, and we got the saxophone here.
Oh.
That's not one of the saxophone greats.
I tell you. Oh, there we go. There we go. That I'm ready to go now.
When we lived in Denver, we had a kid that had a saxophone, and he was learning it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple of months, he sounded like that.
Yeah.
But he did improve. So, you got to just stick with it.
Yeah, you do. You do.
With most instruments, you can't just pick them up and play. A lot of people.
Well, what about the jaw harp?
Well, actually,
boing, 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 boing. There you go. There's your instrument, Venison. You need a jaw harp.
So this friend of mine was in a band, and there was a guy that played the harmonica. He thought he didn't need to practice. Well,
and
he
I
was
did
a
better
lousy
than that on a
musician.
jaw harp. Shit, where is it?
Here we go. Here we go. Jaw harp. Let's see what we get here. This guy's.
I can see your butt crack.
Oh, thank you.
Now that's cool. Hey, Venison, are you tapping your foot with this?
There we go. There we go. That's how to do
I
it.
was.
That was good. That was some good
that was
jaw
cool.
harping.
Definitely.
There you-
Definitely on
there-
the list.
Yeah.
So you know what the definition of perfect pitch is?
Being able to identify a note by ear perfectly.
No, the real definition is when you throw your harmonica out the window and it hits the banjo.
Yeah. I don't know if the banjo player is going to agree on that definition.
I know, and I know a number of people that have. In fact, actually, the bass instructor that I was working with, now that he's not able to play gigs, he's been making these cigar box guitars and banjos, at home. It's actually pretty cool.
Well, you know about Bach had a lot of sons, right?
Yes. Good
And,
Catholic.
yeah, and there was, because there was like what was it? J.C. Bach, CPE Bach, and of course the last of the sons, who was often forgotten, PDQ Bach. whose music was really never appreciated in its time. And one thing that you might not know about PDQ Bach is that he was a pioneer in bluegrass. And here we have the Black Forest Bluegrass, as composed by PDQ Bach, which was unearthed many years later by Professor Peter Schickele, who discovered all these forgotten musical compositions.
And fictional 1965.
No, PDQ Bach was cool.
And so, as we can see here,
Last
PDQ Bach ahead of
official,
the curve, composing for banjo probably before it was invented. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, he did a lot of weird things. Which made him good.
Is that his vocals?
That's someone's
Someone
vocals.
forgot to tell him, like,
Blaus Gras.
Neil
Nailed
Young
that.
was told early in his career that he couldn't sing.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to go with that.
No.
And he still can't sing. Now then, haters for you in the text
Yeah.
here in Team Talk. There's somebody there who plays a number that is the ultimate sexy saxophone. In fact, he got this girl in the background getting off on it.
Okay, so in the mythology of PDQ Bach, apparently the fictional character, died on May 5th. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah, that's coming up.
1807.
Yeah.
1807 tomorrow. By the way, may the 4th be with you.
Oh, yes. May the 4th be with you, too.
Oh, shit!
Oh shit.
You forgot May the
Let's
4th.
see. Kind of. Let's see, is it on? No, it's not on.
Oh, well.
What? Star Wars?
No, Cartoon Network. They were fully doing, May the 4th be with you type of guy. Type of thing.
Cartoon Network?
And, yeah. Doing Star Wars things.
So, who is this? Kenny G?
This is the,
No.
this is the thing that Venison recommended.
What was
brain.
this, Venison?
This
The Brain.
Sex on the Brain is what this is called. It looks like this was on a CD called Strip to It, Sensually Enhanced Music and Multimedia.
I told you.
This is the type of thing that would be in your music collection.
Yes, it would.
I'm sorry, what was the last name again?
No, there's no name. I only have the name of the track, which is Sex on the Brain. B-R-A-Y-N-E.
And there's a guy's name. D-A, Brain. B-R-Y-N-E.
Oh, Sax on the Brain. But I thought that was just the name of the song. Anyways, I Googled that, and it came up with this. It just says Sax on the Brain.
Huh. Well, that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
So, is that BR...
B-R-A-Y-N-E. It's in the chat room in the Team Talk.
if I had the Team Talk up.
But yeah,
Well,
Da-
as far as list of jazz saxophonists, that's not on that list. That's the Wikipedia. You know what you should do is play some Charlie Parker instead.
well, we only got 5 minutes left, and we're gonna wrap this up. And
Before you do, there's something I want to go back to.
okay,
Yeah.
You know, which I wanted to do a lot earlier before, but somebody likes to change subjects in the same breath. Okay.
Who, me?
I'm just saying someone.
And speaking
Now
of changing
then.
subjects, we could go ahead, Venison.
Yeah. But going back to that copyright thing, you know, if you write a song and play it, it's automatically copyrighted type thing. Now, just want to know if you write a song. Why is it getting louder?
He likes to do that.
No, I'm not doing that. That's just I turned it. I'll take it back though. Go ahead. You write a song.
Yeah, you write a song and you make an album of it, and you get it played a few times on internet radio. Does that automatically make it a legal copyright?
Well, no. I mean, when you write a song, it's copyright law is a law that protects what you create. So you don't have to register your song in order for the copyright law to apply to it. You have to register your song to be able to prove that you wrote it at that date.
Now, what if you got a recording from that date of the station it was on?
Well, I mean, now when you get into proving copyrights, you're getting into courtroom scenarios, and you're getting into a lot of he said, she said stuff. So
Yeah, but you got a recording from the radio station.
Okay, that could work to your advantage. And that all. Here's the thing: I'm not a copyright lawyer, so I don't know what legal precedence in courtroom scenarios is. All I know is that when you wrote the song, technically copyright law protects that as your property, but you have to be able to prove that if you want to take something to court, and that's where registering comes in. And if you didn't register it, then that gets into some sticky territory, and starting to prove things based on this was played at this time, whatever, starts to turn into like any courtroom drama would. And there's probably a lot of things. And let's keep in mind, most cases don't end up in a courtroom because that's expensive. Most things get settled or aren't worth the time.
I mean, it would be interesting to go into
good.
the case of Stairway to Heaven and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
You know,
like
the guy
that.
that actually wrote it never sued him because, hey, these guys are my friends and we were just doing this thing. And he didn't care. Until he died, then the surviving family decide, oh, we're going to sue Led Zeppelin because we want the money.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we're not going. It's not that deep though. But I didn't ask that only because I got my The Atomic Cookie name, and I was given that name back in '79, and with a couple of keyboards, tape deck, loopbacks, blah blah blah. I made a bunch of songs that turned into an album back in '84, and even made cassettes of that album and handed them out to people because they liked it, and had tracks of the album played on various radio stations back in 2003, 2004. Okay. Then I find out that, rummaging around on, Google, I bang up the Atomic Cookie. Actually I just typed in Atomic Cookie and see what came up. I found out there's somebody else out there and has the Atomic Cookie name. I was like, wait, what? Someone.
But did they do your songs?
No, they didn't do my songs. They just named themselves Atomic Cookie.
okay, that's
Oh, so they just used your name.
that a name, band names, act names, that falls under trademark law, and trademark registrations only apply to things that are actively in use. And also trademark names of bands has been some very sticky territory things, because back in the day, record labels sometimes did the paperwork and applied for the registration of the copyrights, and that's where you get a lot of bands that are on the oldie circuits that are not the original bands, and they're just a group of people that are playing those bands material, and they're able to do it because they have deals with the record company that owns the trademark to the band name. But I do know that trademarks require like active and like I know that when Pontiac closed up shop, the trademark, there's a period of time that you're allowed to pay to hold the registration to keep it in case you want to reactivate it later, a certain number of years. And there were rumors about GM bringing back Pontiac because they kept renewing that Pontiac trademark for a few years. Now, that has not materialized, but there was some rumors based on that. So when it comes to your Atomic Cookie name, you've not kept anything in print for a number of years. And also trademarks are regional, and trademarks also can apply. If someone uses Atomic Cookie for a cookie product, that wouldn't be infringing on your trademark of Atomic Cookie as a musical act because they're different markets. But then again, that could your mileage may vary on that.
Is there was an outfit in Colorado called the Hard Rock Cafe, and the big corporation Hard Rock Cafe tried to sue them, and this is no, we've been using this name since 1940.
And so they're the only not official Hard Rock Cafe that's allowed to do that because they're grandfathered in, and they own that trademark for that region only, which is the
right.
There's a Burger King like
they
that.
only have one location, so
that region.
Right.
I gotta find out where they are
Because there's a Burger
but then,
King like
even
that.
More interesting, you had Jefferson Airplane, and after they broke up or changed the band layout, they went to Jefferson Starship.
Right.
And then they became just Starship, right? So they kept changing their name with the different band members.
Well, it's like talking about the oldies circuit, the Classics 4. A group of people tour as the Classics 4, even though they're not original members and they didn't write the material. And Dennis Yost tried to sue them, and he won his case. The only problem is he won his case to keep the trademark in his hometown. So that means when you go into his hometown, he's the Classics 4. Everywhere else in the country, though, this other imposter act is the Classics 4. So that
damn
right.
And there's a Burger King
that
like,
ruins.
yeah.
That ruins my
and
chances.
you know,
Yeah.
my our friend Dan,
Mm-hmm.
from out here,
Yeah.
he went to go see Three Dog Night,
Yeah.
and one of the members was sick, and he says actually they were more like Two Dog Night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He would. That is something he would say.
Yeah, like I said, that ruins my chances.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that if this Atomic Cookie Group went and made it big, made lots of money, they back on the suit and got some of that money.
Yeah.
But nope. No,
Well,
I'll only be able to
let's say-
use it, just in New Jersey.
Let's say you did continue to use it,
Mhm.
and you attempted to sue them. The thing is, it would take a lot of money to be able to do that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Because they're not just going to hand you some money.
It's a flimsy case at best. Now there's a
Damn.
there's a burger joint in Mattoon, Illinois called Burger King, and it's just this like independent locally owned restaurant, but they opened up with the name Burger King before the Burger King chain opened up, and at some point, let's see, things went smoothly for the business for several years until the Hoots family learned of the Burger King in Florida and that company's plans for Illinois. The Hoots and their lawyer thought their state trademark, which was in use before the Florida chain moved into the state, gave them exclusive rights to the Burger King name all over the state. However, the Florida chain opened its first Illinois restaurant in Skokie, a Chicago suburb, in 1961. By 1967, the chain had 50 restaurants in Illinois, and the Hootses felt they needed to take action. The Hoots filed suit in state court, and the Florida company responded with a federal suit, Burger King of Florida, Inc. versus Hoots, 1968. The Hoots had attorney Harlan Heller of Mattoon, whereas the president of the Burger King of Florida appeared with at least 6 lawyers, according to Betty Hoots. The case went to the federal Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, whose decision still stands as important interpretation of the Lanham Act. The court ruled that because of the federal trademark registration and because the federal law indicated priority over state law, Florida's Burger King had rights to the name almost everywhere in the United States, including in Illinois, except in the Mattoon area, where the Hoots family had prior actual use. As a result of the case, the Hoots cannot use the name Burger King outside of the Mattoon area, and the Florida chain, which operates both nationally in the U.S. and internationally, cannot use the name in Mattoon area. The district court had previously decided that the Mattoon market area was a circle with a radius of 20 miles and centered the Hoots restaurant. Thus, the closest Burger King for the Florida chain is located approximately 25 miles north of Mattoon in Tuscola, Illinois. As of 2012, the Florida chain has 319 locations in Illinois outside the 20-mile Mattoon area. So yeah, there's a little area of land in Illinois where the Burger King food chain is not allowed to operate under the name Burger King because of trademark law, because a family opened up a burger joint with the name Burger King before they did. They couldn't get the whole state. They could only get, a reasonable circle of land around the one operation they were running. So that is an interesting quirk of trademark law.
Oh, and then here's the other one. So Burger King's Australian franchise, Hungry Jack's,
yeah,
is the only franchise to operate under a different name due to a trademark dispute and a series of legal cases between the two.
Huh.
Apparently, the guy that owns the franchise in Australia did not want to be Burger King since they do have a monarch.
Oh,
That's in the UK.
Interesting.
But this article doesn't.
They didn't want to compete with the Queen, Her Royal
right.
Highness.
And what if they had a queen? Then there would be became a king.
Yeah.
And then, so then we have a king, and then we have a Burger King. That would be awkward.
I don't think that'd be awkward at all.
To them.
The king would be the king of everything except burgers, and you had the Burger King for that.
This kind of sucks. That means the only way I can get revenge against those guys is, to deny them to play concerts in my area.
Yeah, and even that's a stretch for your situation. But yeah, that's...
and then how much money would you have to spend to get that to happen? And then the other question is, are you still using that name?
Yes.
But legally, are you using that name as a musical
When
act?
was the last time you put out an album?
The last thing I put on the album was... Oh, holy shit. Come on. Name the whole thing. For goodness sake. That's it.
Okay.
For goodness sake by Atomic Cookie.
And when was that? When did that come out?
Oh, when did I make that? I'd say about 2005. No, 2015.
And you have the recordings of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Send them in to Johnny so we can play it.
There we go. Yeah, I got a lot of Atomic Cookie. We'll visit that next week.
Yeah, we should be
Yeah.
playing clips of it. What the hell, right?
Well, back when we used to take breaks, we did that. But anyways, we'll have to do that. But anyways, we do.
Full mood dissension. That's a scary one.
But we do try to be educational here on this show, and I think we've all learned a whole lot. So, Venison, what have you learned this week?
Nothing about D.B. Cooper.
And we didn't even bring up Oak Island.
Fuck Oak Island.
And what else? Oh, hell, man, I don't even know. I guess not really much of anything, except I'm screwed when it comes to copyright law and protecting myself and the work I did for 30 years.
Well, that's how it goes
Now,
sometimes.
did they ever steal from your music?
No, not that I know of.
Just the
So
name.
it's just a coincidence that they're using your name.
Yeah.
Well, it is a pretty cool name.
No, it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
All right, Brian, what have you learned this week?
I learned that Venison is a recording artist.
Well, there we go.
I think that's cool.
That is cool. And I learned that Brian found the best way to play blackjack is to play with negative money.
Yes.
So if you play with money that you took out on a loan, does that count as negative money, and then the house has to pay that?
Huh. That's a good thought.
That's a good thought, because what is negative
We have to
money
try it.
but credit? So if you gamble on credit, that's like gambling with negative money, and that means the house has to pay you the money, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works. This is oh my God, I got to get to Vegas and try this right away. I got something here.
Loophole.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for me. Anyways,
What does a
Yeah, right.
negative- when you go to the casino, what does a negative chip look like?
yeah, exactly. I'll have to ask.
Yeah,
I just throw IOUs. I don't want to use chips. I want to use IOUs and put a negative
Yeah.
on it. See if they
You
accept.
go in there and scream loophole. You're going to end up a bullet hole.
Yeah.
They'll take you out in the back and have you talk to Luigi.
Here we go. All right. Anyways, thank you, everyone.
Hey, I want you to meet this plumber.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. We're going to go raid the Elephant Ballet is what we're going to do, because I actually remembered
Yay!
to raid. So we got one whole viewer that's going to go raid there right now. So thank you, everyone, and you all have a good night.
Wait, we have one viewer where?
Oh, 2 viewers on Twitch.
Oh. Oh, and on YouTube there are 4 watching now. So
All
that
right.
I'm on it. Are you watching it?
Well, I have it paused, so I don't know if that counts. But good night, everyone.